With ITS Finland and ITS Sweden, ITS Denmark, ITS Iceland, ITS Latvia and ITS Estonia. Together we are Nordic Plus, meaning we need to collaborate together. And I seem to hear that the word throughout this journey is about collaboration. Because if we want to reach all our goals, both on the sustainable side, ease of mobility for all, and effective mobility and transport, we need to collaborate. It's not just about public and private trust. It's about trust in the technology and trust in the end user. Many friends here today, some new friends from Korea. Very happy to have you here. Looking forward to get to know you. We have an extensive program, so please do not fall asleep on the back. As it's a movie theater, it's quite warm in here, it's quite nice, the sound is lovely. You just had some food, but we have a lot of good programs, so I want you to keep active and alert. As it is about collaboration, I want you just to reach out to your left or right, just to state your name and who you are, your company, and then you can't just start before I said yes. No, just this. There's one eager here. Left, hey Kimmo. And then you just turn around to your left and right, say who you are, so then we are acquainted and we can get the show started. And there was one thing Alex told me, please to remember to click your name up front. Without much ado, I will just kick off the program because now you introduce you. You were supposed to tell your name and company, not your life story. But here we go. I would like to introduce you to the chairman of the board for ITS Finland. And you will do your, I now remember to click, because that is important, as I was told by Alex. And I will give you the word to you, Mika. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to open this seminar and welcome you all here. ITS is about intelligence, but without collaboration and cooperation, we can't give the intelligence and knowledge the chance it really creates when we are doing when we are cooperating and creating new solutions. So I'm very happy that this our annual event is even more international than it's normally. So all our international guests, I warmly welcome you once again. And please make a lot of contacts and get to know. I've seen many times that when these contacts are growing and growing, it's really opening doors and opening opportunities for businesses, developments and new steps for cooperation. So I think it's extremely important that we are active during the day, during the afternoon, making questions, comments, not just during the seminar here, but when we are having a little bit lesser time there and free possibility to walk around and meet new people, please be active. And perhaps I would like to underline this to the Finnish participants because we have excellent guests here and it's a really good opportunity for us as well. Not speaking longer, I would like to open the seminar because we have excellent panelists, we have excellent speakers during the day, and with these thoughts, I would like to welcome you all once again. Thank you very much.
Big applause to Mika. Thank you so much. And as you are the chairman of the ITS Norway, you approved the budgets. There will be no gift for you because you already actually paid for it. But we thank you for your time. I would like to give the word now towards the next opening remarks to Laura Eiro. She has an extensive title being Director General of the Data Safety and Security Department at the Ministry of Transport on Communications. Laura, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And you can see from the outside weather that the traditional slush week in Finland is approaching, but a very warm welcome also on my behalf, especially for our Nordic Plus and international guests, and lovely to see our national ITS community, being a former ITS Finland representative myself. I would like to share some recent developments from Finland with you, and also to reflect on what kind of collaboration we could do even more for the digital transformation of mobility and transport systems. Starting with regulation, there is a lot of talk on too restrictive legislation, both nationally and at the EU level. However, if the regulation is done right and in a balanced way, it can be enabling and supporting innovation. And that is the approach that we have taken in Finland already for quite many years. Already in 2016, we adopted the Act on Transport Services, and the core of the whole Act was to modernize and unify transport legislation across all the transport modes, and also to create conditions for digitalization and new business models in mobility. And one of the main objectives was to promote digitalization and interoperability of data and ticketing and payment systems, with a strong emphasis on open data and open interfaces. We have continued this part over the years, and just recently the Finnish Parliament passed a new law to act on digital data services of the transport system. And this law does only not to implement the revised EU ITS directive and the national access point, but it also introduces a new layer in digital transport, the national basic information services of the transport system, and that is the way we want to push forward the systemic development. This service will provide aggregated data sets based on open data available through the national access point, and the goal is to improve the quality of data, for example, on access points, accessibility, and travel information, which of course are essential for us to build seamless transport chains across the modes. Our state-owned company, Fintraffic, which is responsible for traffic control and management across all modes of transport, will have a key role in implementing this legislation in practice. And at the same time, the company is tasked with promoting innovation and exports in the sector. And I believe this is very unique, even globally, to have such a ecosystemic approach which is backed by the state actor. Of course, then at the EU level, we have seen the Union taking significant steps forward by renewing the ITS regulatory framework, and we also have the Holistic Data Regulation, Data Act and AI Act, for example, which also have their impact on mobility sector, and maybe now it's about the unified implementation of those legislation across the Union that are needed to build a single market. So I think that for us who are working with the EU legislation, it is one of the areas for even further collaboration, but we also need to align our national legislations so that we can create a functioning market and also create demand through that legislation. Then few words on digital twin. We are currently moving or working towards a digital twin of the Finnish transport system, and the new law just mentioned lays the foundation for a more data-driven and responsive and efficient transport infrastructure and services. And in parallel to that transport sector development, we are also working on a cross-sectoral initiative to develop data governance and operational models. And this will be the next phase of our digital twin roadmap, and I hope we will be able to share more of that and then by the end of this year or in the beginning of next year. And it is also something that I see lots of collaboration opportunities for our whole community to really fully have the potential out of the digital twin. We also need even broader collaboration. We have had an excellent start so far, but even more stronger collaboration between public authorities, private companies, academia, and other stakeholders. As Jenny quite rightly said, that this digital journey is not just about technology, but it's about building shared capabilities and trust, and through that a systemic change. And of course today and the visits that many of you have had in the past days are a great example of such collaboration, and I believe that there are even opportunities to do more of that. We all know that digitalization depends on data, so its availability, its quality, and its usability. And technologies like AI are only as powerful as the data that they rely on is. And therefore, together we must ensure that data is governed, shared, and used in interoperable and secure systems. Moreover, we need collaboration for cost-effective digitalization, and by investing in shared digital infrastructures and services, we avoid fragmentation and ensure that systems can communicate and scale. Again, this is something where we have very good projects ongoing, just to name a few, like the FT collaboration, X-Road, digital identity, real-time economy, etc., that we can build upon. Perhaps looking ahead, quantum technology is something that offers really exciting possibilities for the mobility sector as well. While it is still emerging, quantum computing could revolutionize how we optimize traffic flows, simulate complex transport networks, and manage logistics in real time. And to prepare this quantum future, we need to start building awareness and skills and partnerships already now, even though maybe our brains are more around AI at the moment, but the quantum is just around the corner. And it also is a sector where Europe actually can really still win, and we have possibility for the European solutions to scale worldwide. And Finland just recently published our national quantum strategy to that view. To guide all of these efforts together, we need both shared long-term objectives and concrete steps for digital development. And of course, one effective way to demonstrate the value of digitalization is through use case-driven cooperation. On that, we must be cautious, as if we are focusing too narrowly on specific cases, it can lead to a fragmented development, and so we need to balance between the concrete pilots and a broader strategic vision. So we need, I would say, all the participants in the ITS community, from companies to governments, for this journey together. From our perspective, one of the key priorities is to ensure that public funding for transport system maintenance and development is used as efficiently as possible, especially given in the current economic situation. We have been talking a lot about the value of data for a very long time, and now the pressure is growing to actually really realize those benefits. So with public money, we must deliver more, and it's not just infrastructure, but also services, preparedness, and safety, as well as economic opportunities. And we must be able to demonstrate these benefits very clearly. On that, we hope to see the growing private market around ITS solutions, as this would also allow the public sector to benefit from the agility and innovation of private actors. Finally, research and stakeholders' feedback have highlighted a need to improve procurement practices, especially in how we value data during the planning and construction and service phases of the projects, which again is an area for collaboration, at least around the Nordic Baltic countries. In this sense, it's important to clarify that we are not advocating for a separate market for data collections, but we rather hope that the private sector will see high-quality data production as competitive advantage integrated into their own services. And of course, this also requires public buyers to define clear data requirements. So to conclude, there are, I believe, many of collaboration streams where we can strengthen the work we are doing, the legislative alignment, improving data sharing and interoperability, shared digital infrastructures, promoting the digital twin development and quantum technology readiness, and better procuring practices and leveraging private innovation and growth. And last but not least, we together have to really drive the systemic change, which mostly is inside our heads. The technology is there. But I wish you a very fruitful day here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, Laura, I am so sorry. I said in the beginning that I need to keep my time, but I just have one question, and we did not rehearse this. So, but I think what is the biggest barrier we need to overcome? Because you have come so far in Finland, we are a little bit jealous in Norway. And now you talk about quantum technology. But what is the biggest hurdle that we need to overcome in order to have seamless transport across borders? Because it's good that you work on something here, but it needs to come across borders in order for us all to have a seamless, smart, safe, and sustainable transport.
I think it comes down to what I mentioned about having a aligned strategic vision and then the concrete steps that are actually really supporting the vision. So there we, I believe, can really do more to have a shared situational awareness and ensure that there is no parallelities in the work, so that we really use all the money efficiently. And through that we also can demonstrate the benefits to hopefully at some point get even more public funding. I guess there are also something development that can be done in the funding mechanisms.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. That's basically as what we want to achieve with these visits as well, Laura. So thank you for that answer. A big applause to Laura. Moving on. Oh, by the way, you will actually get a gift from ITS Finland for your generous thoughts and your remarks. Very good. It actually inspires us all to become more collaborative. Moving on, we have a panel about CITS connectivity and autonomy, and it will be moderated by Ville Kilpiö. And moving there too fast, actually. So I will give the floor to Ville, who will moderate this session. So please give an applause to Ville.
Thank you, Jenny. And as I'm introducing the session, I would also like to invite our speakers already to take place here in front, so you can join me here. So good afternoon to everyone. My name is Ville Kilpiö. I work as a smart mobility consultant in Ramboll, Finland. And today I will be facilitating our really interesting session about the themes of CITS, connectivity, and automated mobility. Okay, so as mentioned, we have a strong lineup here for expert speakers, and each of them will give their distinctive perspective today to today's theme. And the session format is quite simple. We will have brief presentations from each of the speakers, and after that short reflection, but afterwards we will have a panel discussion all together here. So please save your questions for the panel discussion. You will be a really important part of this panel discussion. So firstly, with this introduction, I would like to welcome our first speaker to join the stage. So Mika from Remoted, Finland's leading operator of autonomous vehicles. Please, you can join here if you have the slides and wish to show them. Okay.
Hello. Slides.
Click to the right.
Really, click to the right.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, nice to be here. So, representing Remoted, and we are driving the change in urban mobility. And what I like today is that this is one of the first times when we are talking about business-driven ideas. And I took the liberty to put my thoughts. What does it mean when we are talking about business-driven ideas? So we know that in autonomous vehicle business, the last years have been fulfilled with all kind of technological pilots. When industry and cities have focused on validating if a vehicle comply with road regulation. Does it work? Is it a technology feasible? But now those days are gone. And now we are moving forward to the commercial phase, which means that this vehicle and the services need to comply with a totally new kind of a paradox, which is business models and also how to validate the consumer experience. So we are shifting from road regulation to comply and vehicle regulation to be in line with Act on Mobility Services. And this is the big shift what is happening. When we are talking about digitalization or automation, there are basically two things what it have to deliver. Either it provides better service to consumers, or then it provides economical benefits. When we are looking to autonomous vehicles, when they are integrated as part of public transport, comparing the traditional model, if you buy a bus, you need to hire 4 drivers because of the regulation, because of the unions, etc. And on the other hand, when you are operating an autonomous vehicle, one person can control at least 4 vehicles at the same time. This is where the cost benefit is coming, thanks to digitalization and thanks to automation. Said that, also happy today to announce that we are starting developing the, I don't know if it's a Europeans first or first in Nordics, but at least first in Finland. In some cases it means the same thing. To start developing the first fully autonomous and commercial mobility service in Tampere. You are welcome to step on board on 17th of November in Lintuhytti, Tampere line 301. Danke schön.
All right, thank you, Mika, and very well kept in time as well. Really interesting presentation, and maybe short reflection before moving to the following speakers. So it's really interesting, as you mentioned. Now you are moving towards validating the business model and the consumer experience. So what are your expectations from the Lintuhytti when they start to operate? What do you expect to gain from there, or what kind of experience do you are you expecting from there?
So every time when we are opening a new route and we are launching it in social media that today or tomorrow the bus is driving, it's fantastic to see the reflections from regular people. Oh my God, if we just can turn this pessimism in Finland to some kind of a valuable asset, we will be the richest country in the world. But that is the one thing. But typically in 2 weeks it fades away, and this kind of technological shininess is there 2 weeks. After that, people are just reacting that okay, it's any other vehicle in the network. What I'm expecting over the time is that we can improve the service in a way that a robot bus is leaving Lintuhytti area 4 times in an hour. Currently the bus is leaving twice in an hour. So it means really a better service to Lintuhytti people, but at the same time we also would like to bring a cost benefits to Tampere Public Transport Authority, to Nyssä. And those are obvious ones.
Perfect, thank you very much, Mika, and we will get back to these topics in the panel discussion part, where you in the audience can as well ask your questions. So, moving on. Our next speaker is Tõnis Oppi from Estonia. Tõnis works as a sales manager in Auvatech, a company that specializes in the development and manufacturing of autonomous transportation system. Please welcome Tõnis.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. So, as already said, we are autonomous vehicle producer located in Estonia, one of the few ones still remaining, European producer. So, does anybody know Auvatech beside Mika?
Yes, we know.
Quite a lot. Anyway, I have also prepared a small video to you, if it's possible to show.
You need to click to the right.
Okay.
Probably one more time.
Nice. That's that. We showed some. This was the video about the operations around the world. As you could see, we are quite famous. We are also market leader in Japan. We had 18 vehicles operating there daily in 7 different locations. And you also saw US and UAE and Estonia. So those are the markets that we are currently operating in. What makes Auvatech unique is that we are vehicle developer, we are producer of the vehicles, and we also develop the software. So we are doing the full scope service. We are we do the route setup, we do the training of the personnel, and usually we always cooperate with the local partners. So we train the partners as well, and our operations could be operating anywhere between airports to the local districts. And as you see on the video, most of the operations you saw were in open traffic conditions, and only one of our operations is running in a closed traffic condition, and this is taking place in Estonia, in airport of Tallinn. So mobility is the future, which means that in our case it means that we have a completely new vehicle, and we have a completely new software. So the vehicle is called Mika 2.0, and the software is called OS-TAC. Basically, what's new in this OS-TAC software is that we're using the cameras in cooperation with the LiDAR software, with the LiDAR sensors, and thanks to that we are able to classify different objects. We are able to understand what is pedestrian, what is vehicle, and so on. And this makes the whole solution to be more cost effective and also more safe. And what is very important also, because of this camera technology, we are able to understand the blinking light and also all kind of traffic lights, so it's not possible to do it with a LiDAR sensor. So let's talk a little bit about numbers as well. So we have been operating in 17 different countries, but current operations are taking place in US, in Estonia, in France, in UAE, and in Japan. We are, as I said already, we are the market leaders in there. So we had also our longest operation in Finland. It was happening in Herventajärvi for 2 years. And our most important mission right now is taking place in airport of Tallinn, where we are taking out the safety driver in 2026. So the tests without the safety driver inside the vehicle will start already in 2 weeks. So to conclude, just to say a few more words. I don't want to dwell about legislation, funding, and also competitors. I just want to say that we are an Estonian company. We are small, but we are really operating. We are taking next big steps towards the L4, and it's really a big milestone in case of Tallinn Airport. And this is not a big step only for us. It's the big step for the whole. It's a big step for the whole transport community, because we are showing that technology is mature, it's safe, and it's ready for the whole world service. So this is all from my side.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Just fast reflection for you as well. So you presented quite remarkable numbers that you operate in 17 countries, and maybe a question from there, like what kind of differences have you noticed in these different market areas? How it is to operate in different around the world? Is there big differences?
For sure, there are big differences, and just to specify, we are not currently operating on 17 different countries. It's the 17 different countries we have been operating in. So our current operations are running on 5 countries, but they are completely different worlds. Japanese, for example, are very open to all kind of innovation, and the government is also very willing to support those kinds of initializations for the new innovation topics. But in US, they are very welcoming it, and the idea in there is that we will start and then we'll see how it goes. But in Europe, it's quite different, because in here we have to prove that the technology really works, and then we can take the next steps.
That's really interesting observation, different from the different approaches, and maybe something that we can have a conversation in more detail during the panel discussion. Yeah, thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Perfect. So our last speaker for today before the panel discussion part is Spencer Riegler from the United Kingdom, and Spencer is International Business Director at TRL, a global center for innovation in transport and mobility. Please welcome Spencer to the stage.
Hi everyone. So, well, first of all, thanks for the introduction and thanks for the invite. I'm glad to say I have a long personal history with Finland, and it's always a pleasure to come back here, and everyone's very friendly and very helpful and very again, always a pleasure. In fact, I met an ex-colleague from who I haven't seen in 25 years in the lobby earlier. So yeah, it's been an exciting day altogether. Good. Okay. So clicker. Right. Okay. So yeah, TRL. So just as by way of a quick introduction. So yeah, we have a long history in transport, basically, and really sort of focusing on pioneering innovation. All the way from when we were in inception in the 30s all the way through to today, and in fact where we see our business going forward is very much focusing in the areas of embracing data, but also looking at innovations around, for example, autonomous vehicles and so on. And I tried to think about what was going to be my my presentation given the very esteemed colleagues I'm sitting next to here, and we had a pre-meeting, and they were basically saying, you know, we don't need anything from infrastructure. We can basically work autonomous vehicles autonomously without really needing that infrastructure to operate effectively. I'm going to spend just a few moments to explain perhaps why the infrastructure can support autonomous vehicles to operate in different ways. But just another note about Finland when we look at software. So operating in Finland, and indeed in the Nordics and the Baltics, is a very interesting opportunity because you're very data rich. So compared to a lot of other nations, you've been collecting and using data for a long time, and that actually makes it a very advantageous and good environment to work in. So in terms of, as I mentioned, history, so you know, we're here to look at the future, so who cares about the history? But I think if we look back over many years, it has been steps in innovation which has enabled us to move the transport industry forward, and in fact that has happened continuously over many decades. Now I'm going to take a bit of a risk for a minute. And show you a video which perhaps demonstrates that maybe even 60 years ago, innovation in this particular area of autonomous vehicles was well underway. So let's see if this works. No sound. Nice car. No hands. But for the electronics engineers, you'll see the big valve-based equipment sitting in the back seat there. We used to have a test track. We just have a test lab now. So infrastructure was supporting autonomous vehicles 60 years ago. And this explains here why English rally drivers are probably equal to Finnish rally drivers. We used to have snow back in the day. Okay, so maybe a bit of fun, but if we go forward to today, so on a serious note, the UK invested along with other major players in a effectively what we call a mobility living lab. And so why was this put in place? So it was really put in place ultimately by the UK government to support the environment in which new technologies can be tested. So new technologies can be understood and how they operate in a real world environment. And I completely agree with my colleagues here that autonomous vehicles are safe. They can operate on the road. However, what they can't account for is what is happening with those other variables. In other words, us, a dog, a cat, weather, and so on. So we've been collaborating with the likes of, for example, Nissan, who have been coming to the Living Lab in London to actually put their vehicles on the road and actually see what happens. So really get that feedback and through the infrastructure to see. But that's generated a couple of use cases. So, and why are these use cases important? Well, when we go back to those manufacturers and ask, well, why are you sort of interested in getting this feedback from the infrastructure? They're saying, well, ultimately we can look at ways to improve the service for the users of the road network. So, for example, understanding what's happening round the corner, if you like. At the same time, we can maybe look at reducing cost within the vehicle, because we're actually using the infrastructure to provide that information that we wouldn't normally get access to. So I think my time is up, but just to maybe a slightly different perspective, and also the invite is to anyone, please come to London. We're very much, or the UK, we're very much open. Max is in the side there, who will certainly facilitate that for you as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Spencer. Really interesting theme for this session, and I think it's really important subject, this infrastructure support for the autonomous future that we have. And well, maybe we can say that we have come a long way if you compare to the video where there was magnetic guidance, and now we have more digital guidance. Yes, thank you. You can take a seat, and we can move on to the panel discussion of today's first session. Okay. All right, now when the technical issues have been solved, let's start with the Europe's edge. Like we already know that the US and Asia, they host some of the biggest automated mobility players in the world, and our perspective is in Europe. And my question is like, how does Europe compete against these players? Like, what unique capabilities or know-how do we have here that we can thrive in the competition? What do you say?
Okay, let's be bold. There's a saying that United States is innovating, China is executing, Europe is regulating. And unfortunately, that is really the case. If we are looking for the Europe as a market, we are fooling a little bit ourselves. We really need one single market to Europe. In terms of autonomous vehicles, we still have country-specific road regulations. Road regulation is not under mandate of European Commission, so it's basically country-based thing. Second one is the vehicle homologation process. So we tend to have these kind of regulatory barriers for companies like Auetech or us for entering to the certain kind of the markets. That should be something that we really need to change. Second topic is we tend to have very much this kind of safety oriented, and don't misunderstand me, safety is super important. But we tend to have this kind of, we are, in some cases, we want that everything is perfect. Everything is really validated, is tested, like Dennis said earlier, before we can start operating it. So maybe a little bit more encouragement to the game. And yes, there are players like Auetech, Milla, Eversum, Holon. There are EU-based companies, and we just need to start, making them the business case much more stronger, that they can really start manufacturing the products and fulfill world with those products.
Thank you, Mika. Any additions, Dennis, Spencer?
Well, it's really difficult to add something to this point, but basically, talking about the legislation, what we see really also is if we talk about the Europe, then each country has its own rules. There is no pan-European legislation in place. Also, we are working towards it. This is also positive, but each market is still different. We don't, for example, for the Germany, they try to make everything a little bit more German way, more safer for everybody. But also we have a problem with funding. Let's say that funding is there, but we could use more funding. We could use more encouragement also from the public sector in order to start larger scale deployments. We have done enough pilots. We need a larger deployment of a vehicle fleet, really.
That's an important point. Spencer, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I knew this question was coming up, so I asked some of my colleagues what did they think, and what was the difference ultimately between, say, the US and Europe, and the answer was that in the US they tend to look more from the individual perspective, so they're looking for innovation within the vehicle for the individual to purchase, whereas here in Europe we tend to look at it more from a public transport perspective, so an integrated transport perspective, and that was very clear in what we saw in trips around Helsinki, for example. Actually my personal experience using the public transport here in Helsinki has been very good. However, what I would say, and probably linked to what you were saying there, is that that takes a lot of bravery from the local government in organisations to actually support that. So, for example, if you look at London, for example, 15 years ago, you would have generally thought about driving into London. Now, you wouldn't even think twice about driving into London, you take the train. But for that to happen, a number of things, congestion charging, emission zone charging, better public transport connection, etc. And then clearly the opportunity then to bring in other modes of transport, autonomous transport and so on, becomes easier. So I think it's a mixture of things, but it's also a cultural thing. So I think in Europe we're more looking at it from a public transport, integrated transport perspective, whereas maybe in other continents it's a different cultural approach.
Yeah, this connects well to the different market approaches to different regions as well. Okay, now I would like to connect also with our audience here. I'm sure that you will have many questions on your mind, but please, there is a question over here.
State your name and your company, please.
Kari Savolainen from Intuit. We provide taxi systems for Finnish, Swedish, Norwegian, UK and US companies. In Finland, my clients keep asking me that when will we have autonomous taxis, and is it Waymo that it's going to take all the business? So what would be the key steps for my clients in US and even in UK that they could acquire the technology and start utilizing it on the road? We already know that Waymo is coming to London in 2026. Why is it only for Waymo and Alphabet? Is the technology so advanced that we don't have a stand in Europe? Are we just gonna stand by and see US companies to take the market?
Gentlemen, you have
If you want to start, I can follow you.
Oh, great. So I will start. My answer is really short. On our tech side, we don't really focus on robotaxi. What we do is certain areas. So we need to really the map of the route. We really need to map the area, for example. We are more working on closed sites, but in Europe, in order to make it work, we would need to map the certain area and then start to drive like on a certain designated route, basically. So this is our case why we are not the same as we cannot not compete, or we cannot be compared to Waymo, for example.
This is a very good question, and to be honest, robotaxis are behind the corner. Typically, if you look into the market, they are built on top of already type-approved vehicles. Like, for example, Pony AI is building that on top of a Lexus vehicles and so forth. So everything that you see and feel there are type-approved, which is a big advantage comparing to, for example, the buses, when we don't even have a proper type approval process for buses. And which is, by the way, a big thing. But the second thing is mainly is that, especially in Finland, we have two main reasons why robotaxis will take some time before they are entering. One is we have extremely harsh winter conditions, and in some cases the ODD, the operational design domain for taxis, it's a little bit stricter than what the weather conditions are. We don't know how it's dealing with snow and ice or in other kind of circumstances. Second one is that this is very capital extensive business. So we are coming back to this kind of a funding case. In order to set up a profitable, economical, viable business model based on taxis, you need an investment. Waymo has very deep pockets at the moment, but in Europe we need someone who is coming with or boosting that kind of a thing happening. Startups can't take that kind of risks because basically you can't raise that amount of money in the beginning. So I would say that those two are obstacles. But of course, it's only a question of time, 1 year or 2 years or 3 years when the robotaxis are coming to the market.
Yeah. And of course, it may be a question like, what do we want to support? Do we want to support the public transportation or taxis, or like it's also a question of this, in the sense?
if I may continue, you have, and now when I had a little bit more time to think about what is the uniqueness in Europe, we have roots in multimodal mobility. Our cities are designed in a way that it supports extremely well multimodal mobility, comparing, for example, to US. Maybe if you take New York or San Francisco away from the picture, but look at any European city, it's designed for humans, right? And that is a great venue and opportunity for multimodal mobility. And in this particular case, we must start seeing taxis and private cars as a part of the transport system, but not the main mode of mobility. We still rely on walking, trams, buses, e-scooters, shared cars, and so forth. That is the combination. That is the future of mobility. Instead of driving with car, we are using all kind of the modes of transport.
Spencer, this kind of connectivity, does it play a role to support the multimodal transportation system? Can you see the connection there?
Yes, I'm sort of a bit out of my comfort zone in terms of answering that. But I think, I mean, again, if I just look at the examples here. Yes. So for example, in the area that we've been operating, a really good example is some of you may know that the major underground route east-west in London, the Elizabeth line, was put in place, and this had a very major impact on flow of people. So in fact, actually, whoever did the business case for that line got it right, because it's packed every day and it's full of people. So wherever the people were before the line, I don't know. But anyway, the thing is that those people come out of a particular station and it completely changes the dynamic at, say, a junction where people walk across the road, how people transfer to buses, how vehicles operate and so on. So in terms of multimodal, maybe I'm sort of stretching it a bit here, but the link between walking, other traffic and so on is something that needs to be studied well and understood, and this will impact, for example, autonomous vehicles. The one thing, if I may, just one thing I would say, and I'd like to pick up on something that Eric from the ITS community in the UK mentioned on the way here. A very really good point is, and I made the mistake as well, I said come to London. The point is that the London is a very particular microcosm. It has its own regulations. For example, the taxi environment in London, Uber had a go at trying to make an entry into London, is very heavily unionized, or represented at least, the taxi drivers. So if you mentioned about coming to the UK, yes, come to the UK, but pick your battle. So maybe go for a smaller town somewhere, you know, because things are generally quite devolved and not deregulated, but devolved in certain places. So, you know, pick the place you go to. You know, don't necessarily go to London because you've got a big political battle going on there with other things. And I do thoroughly recommend, you know, again, reaching out to Max and others who can guide you on that to find. And there's a huge amount of money being provided by UK government into these type of areas. I mean, I heard a figure of £150 million or something, whatever, 170, 80 million euros. So there's a lot of money going into that, and money actually isn't the issue, actually, frankly speaking. It's pick your battle. Where are you gonna enter?
That's good advice. And even though this topic is extremely fascinating, we are at time, and I must be strict because Jenny is really strict. So we need to wrap up this session in order for the next one to begin. Please keep the conversation going up. Our speakers will be here during the break. Approach them, ask them more detailed questions. And I want to thank you everyone here at BioRex as well online. And big thank you for, of course, our brilliant speakers. Please join me in a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Ville, Mika, Spencer, and Tönnis. Please, you will get your little gift from from Sanghee. And I love the way you said the money is not an issue, because I feel like in Norway the money is an issue, in the Nordics as well. And I love the fact, Mika, your comments. I think we are on the right path when we think about how we want to move on when it comes to automated transport. We're looking at it from a right point of view, even though it is slow, even though we feel we are regulated. I think we will at the end win, and we will show that automated transport actually brings mobility to all. Before the break, I want to have a short commercial break, meaning Solmo Mobility Hub project. If you go downstairs, a step downstairs, you will see the Solmo showroom. I encourage you all to go there. It's a project that builds on learning from Mobility Lab Helsinki and shows how shopping centers and transport hubs can become real mobility service platforms, not just transit points. I'm trying to find my commercial voice here. So during the break, you're warmly welcome to join the Solmo showroom, just one floor down, as I said, and meet some of the startups working there, including Diogole, who will now demonstrate their talking AI product. And yes, you can actually chat with the product, so that will be the closest you will get to a friendly or chatty Finn. And I will give the microphone now to Valto Loikkanen, who will give a short sentence about Diogole. Please.
Thank you, Jenny. And first of all, biggest thank you for the whole event and Solmo for organizing this from our perspective. Please scan the QR code. That's the most important thing. I don't want to take any more of your time because this can talk on behalf of itself. So this is this Tripla Mall. It's at the same time the biggest mobility hubs here in Finland. And basically we have made the whole mall available to talk to you. But not only to talk, it also adapts to your language that you have on your browser, and it can also listen to what you have to say. So basically to anonymously hear and see all the conversations of the visitors of the mall. So we can make any station, any product, any physical venue to talk very cost effectively, 10% of the cost of the current systems. Thank you.
Thank you. Applause to you. Thank you. And now it's time for break, and sharply 14:05, as it says in the program, we will start. So please move in before that in good time, and now enjoy your coffee and your chat. Thank you so much. Next panel, they're all eagerly standing here, almost pushing me off the floor. So while we're getting the last persons on the from inside the break to the stage, not to the stage, but into the room, I will give the microphone to Joni from Solita, and he will introduce his panels. And we look forward to this session, which is about data and service integration. A warm applause for Joni and his team.
Thank you. Cool. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me, and thanks for having all the panelists. I suppose that you get to introduce yourselves. So we could start with Janne. Please take your seat. Tell who you are and where do you come from and why are you here?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Janne Lautanala. I'm the Chief Ecosystem and Technology Officer at FinTraffic. I'm running the traffic data ecosystem in Finland, more than 230 different organizations. And my team is also kind of operating the national access point in Finland. So I guess that's the one reason why I'm part of the panel. Thanks very much.
Thank you. yeah, we can applaud. Hey, let's continue with Eva. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Eva Killar, and I come from Estonian Ministry of Climate, where I'm head of Mobility Development and Investments Department. And the field of my department is related to all the new things that is happening in transport and mobility. And I think I'm here mostly because I'm representing I'm a lead partner of FT4EU project, which is transport document digitalization project, and also my department's responsibility is to deal with ITS issues. So I'm really happy to be here and looking forward to our panel. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Next, let's continue with Andy. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Andy. I'm from the UK, and I work for a business called Worldline, soon to be Magellan Partners, and I'm a transport markets product consultant. And what that really means is I'm here to look at new and emerging markets. Why that partly answers why I'm here. Worldline traditionally occupies a space in heavy rail, particularly the markets I've come from. And as part of our expansion plans, we're looking at alternative transport modes. We're looking at light rail, tram, autonomous vehicles, buses, and other adjacent modes such as aviation and maybe maritime as well. Our product suite is really around, we're known for workforce management, planning, scheduling, operational stuff, and Worldline being Worldline, everybody else seems to know us for payments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. And last but not least, Timo. The stage is here. Okay.
Hi everybody. My name is Timo Majala. I'm representing the company, Finnish technology ITS company, Nodeon Finland. I'm there working as a business director, responsible for products and services for the smart cities and smart traffic business sectors. We have a large variety of different kind of services. We work especially for in large infra projects and provide our specialists there and our technology solutions, but also a lot with the data and data services, data analytics platforms and that kind of areas. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, how should we operate with the microphones? One there. One there. Here we go. You should switch it. Okay. Yeah. You can also use this one for now. Okay, cool. Here's another one. So that's for you. Okay. That's for you. Thank you. Cool. Hey, today in this panel, the previous one started with all kind of presentations, but this is more about discussion. So no presentations, just discussion between the panelists and more like free jazz kind of thing. But the high level topic here is data and service integration, or I would say more like data driven integrated services, because I suppose services and solutions are the thing that we should build here, not just data. Yeah, let's begin with a warm up question. If you dear panelists see Nordic Europe, Nordics, I count UK also to be like Nordic Europe in this panel. Yeah. So how would you see, where are we especially good at when it comes to data-driven integrated solutions or services at the moment? So where are we especially good at? Where do we excel at the moment? Let's begin with the positive things. And I suppose that we should start with Janne, who is leading the thing here in Finland.
Yeah, there are a number of things. I would mention at least that we are multimodal by nature. We have a long tradition of open data and high quality digital services like the route planners, whatnot. I think we have an excellent track record of public-private partnerships. Like this occasion is one example of that. I could continue this on and on, but I think I start with this. Thanks.
Cool. Eva.
Thank you. Estonia is known for the digitalization level, quite high. I think now we have all our public services digitalized. I can have a question. Do you know what was the last one that you can do online? divorce. Now you can even divorce online in Estonia. I think everybody were waiting for this solution. But what we are good at, I think Estonia is quite good at data-driven economy, and we kind of adopted the Finnish idea of real-time economy. I must say it wasn't Estonian who invented it, it was Finland. But we thought that it's very, very useful. So one only principle is very high at our government's agenda also. So basically when you have submitted data somewhere, then the reports that the businesses need to provide should come up itself. So I think this is the data is key to all the solutions that we are aiming for. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks. How about you, Andy? How do you see the current situation?
Current situation is interesting because I think the UK experience is that I think what we're good at is recognising problems. I don't know if that resonates with anyone from the UK, but we're always really good at finding problems or reasons why you can't do something. But actually, once we've identified the blockages, we're very good at then resolving them. So when it comes to data, some of the things that we've been able to do and starting to do now is roll out contactless ticketing, and on the heavy rail network. And the heavy rail network for a long time has had a very static system for managing the fares and the revenue allocation. But increasingly, we're now following the London model of zonal or tap in, tap out fares. So we recognise the problems and we apply smart solutions to resolving them.
Cool. Timo, go ahead.
Yes. Actually, I pretty much would like to a little bit open up the process where I was traveling yesterday evening from central Finland to Helsinki, and it takes like 3.5 hours, and I was checking the topics for today's panel discussion, and in the halfway I was still thinking that okay, what would be where we are really good at, and I actually ended up thinking that okay, well, not probably we are good at data spaces, regulating, and probably we are doing something good for cross-border business development by that. But then I actually ended up thinking that what we actually are and how we think and how we work, and I came to an idea that we tend to think always that always common good. And well, we are talking about business here today, but then again, it's okay. Well, it's an idealism. We tend to think common good, and which makes us actually very good at collaboration. And we have been talking about that as well here today already many times. So that was actually the result of my brainstorming at the train yesterday. But then again, I'm representing here the private sector, so I have to at the same time bring up the real life, and it's if, for example, US is very business driven approach. What they do, they think like a global domination every time when they start to do something, and we are just thinking common good. Not just, but from the business perspective. So I think that we in Europe should start thinking more about business.
Okay, cool. Timo. Yes. Thanks. That's a very good segue to our next topic. By the way, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Jouni Wallander. I come from a company called Solita, and I'm a development director at that company. And we are 2,200 head strong digitalization consultancy operating in 10 countries. FinTraffic is our biggest customer, and that's why we are very engaged with all the things related to mobility domain. Cool. But hey, proceeding to the next topic, developing the actual data-driven integrated services. It feels like we have a lot of existing assets already. We have nationwide data platforms. We have brilliant digital solutions for the businesses and also for the customers. And still, it feels like we are not there yet. For example, from the passenger or customer point of view, if you try to go anyway, like cross borders, whether it's cross modes or cross country borders, it gets pretty complicated. It's not that integrated yet. So my question would be that what takes us back? What's challenge us to use the existing assets we have better than we can do today? Also from the business perspective, we are not that good to somehow sell that expertise across Europe. At least that's my feeling about the thing. But yeah, let's start with Andy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think the key thing here is probably collaboration. It's one, identifying the problem or identifying the issue that you're trying to resolve and getting the right stakeholders involved, and then having a whole series of shared objectives that you can then collaborate on. I think back to some of the biggest successes that of projects I've been involved in, it's very much been around everybody being engaged with the same objective. And visiting the Nordics and the Baltics, having an environment like Estonia is it blew my mind. We spent a day there, a whole day, literally probably less than 24 hours actually, and just to hear about the digital economy and how easy it is to do daily life in Estonia. That's almost like, it feels to me like that's the gold standard that we need to be at to be able to have the platform for doing business. You get the environment right, you set the objectives, and then success will follow. But it's got to be collaboration. You've got to have the right people and the right processes and the right environment to make it work.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you. It was really nice to hear about your words towards Estonia, and I'm really pleased. Thank you. But actually, I wanted to say some nice words towards you, because I used to live in London for 4 years. And when I moved back to Estonia, it was 2013. I was at that time already, it was possible in Transport for London to buy tickets with your bank card. But in Estonia, we didn't even had the contactless bank cards yet. So I contacted all the banks in Estonia and said, hey, what do you think about this idea? Maybe Estonia is also ready for contactless payment cards. And they, I don't know, we are so old-fashioned, want to put their PIN in. But then they said that, but you could pay with it in a public transportation. And then we gathered all the banks of Estonia, all the public transport service providers. We formed a working group, and within 1 year, it was possible also in Estonia to buy with a bank card in the public transportation in 2016, in the beginning. So I think that sometimes this collaboration needs somebody to drive it. Somebody who would believe it. I could see the light or something, and I think these kind of things can happen. Thanks.
So you need collaboration, but someone should lead the collaboration, and so the way, so to say. Cool.
Yeah, I'd like to echo the previous talkers. So yeah, EU collaboration is essential. So if we want to establish these standards that are not just kind of one nationwide, but need to be European-wide, and of course these parties need to be capable and willing to collaborate. So that's essential. So collaboration is one key. The other thing is the technology and data bit. So we need to drive for interoperability in terms of data models. We need to establish, for example, standard booking and payment APIs for if you want to enable these travel chains, and that's currently being done in Nordics in the NEMU project. But third thing, which is in many cases overlooked, is the business models. How do you if you create the value, how do you share the value between the different parties? And that's traditionally in the Nordics been one of the key obstacles of not succeeding in making travel chain solutions or mass-like solutions really thrive.
Cool, thanks. Timo, do you have anything to add?
Well,
from a SME point of view. Yeah.
Sorry?
From a SME point of view.
From SMEs. Well, I tried. I would like to pick up the topic of how to leverage existing assets, actually, which is on the topic list. And first of all, like to give a little bit credit to FinTraffic here in Finland. They have started to discuss on that. They have a lot of assets, and they are thinking that how to actually use those more effectively to actually create some business. And that is actually something I would like to stick on a little bit. I have a saying that a commercial value of public sector owned innovation is zero. It's nobody is selling it, and well, okay, that's probably true, but don't get me wrong. I of course understand that it's a useful innovation and it has a lot of different impacts, but from the purely business perspective, it could be seen that way. So I think that we need to think more that perspective at the same time, that if we have these assets, if we have these innovations which we are building in the taxpayers' money, how to actually use those to build also business.
Yeah. Janne, you could elaborate that. Yeah.
Maybe I just Estonian experience that we have this rule in Estonia actually that when government is creating some kind of code, it has to be openly available for everybody. So, and if you don't want to make it available for everybody to use, then you have to reason why you will keep it to yourself. So the ground rule is that if government is creating some kind of IT code or something, then we have repository, or I don't know, the word is difficult for me, but then everybody from whoever would like to use this code, they can have access to this.
Yeah. From
that's really
Finland
a great principle, and also in FinTraffic we have great examples of collaboration. For example, with the Norwegians on the route planner. So all the OpenTrip planner code is available for reuse. And for example, Kimmo Yli-Siuronen, please raise your hand, is running the traffic data service cluster. So that's one of the key goals of the traffic data service cluster, how we can leverage the assets that FinTraffic has been developing by taking these regulation-based solutions, EU regulation-based solution, and help out other companies get sales from other European Union countries, leveraging the IT assets that we have here in Finland. And we have been relatively successful, and Kimmo probably can tell more details on the next break.
Cool.
Andy, yeah, thanks. A few thoughts on that in no particular order. For the software providers, it's probably making your tech stack work better with your products being feeding each other and being able to feed other products outside, maybe even competitors, but at least working with competitor products where the market is directing you. It's not necessarily something that we want to do, but it's something that we have to do. One of the ways you can that can be realised, and it's already been touched on earlier, would be through compatible data standards or telematic standards that are European-wide. Certainly in terms of, in certain sectors, there are technical standards of interoperability that you have to comply with if you want to do business across the EU. Now, despite the fact that we left a few years ago, guess what? We still follow the European standards of technical standards of interoperability because we still want to do business with Europe. I think it's going to become increasingly important that we have those European standards if we start looking, certainly for a Brit who's normally about 1,200 kilometres removed from this sort of trouble, seeing lots of troop movements and lots of police escorts, and knowing that I don't know which way we are here, but knowing somewhere in one of the four directions there is a neighbour that might not share our best interests, really focuses the mind on data security, what we're going to share, and actually making sure that the UK and the European bloc have a shared objective for I would say international and national security, and data is key to that.
Cool.
Well, it's gone silent now. I just killed the room. Sorry, everybody.
That was too deep. All right. Hey, one quick one.
One
Yeah.
quick one to
Yeah.
hear as well. I very much like to hear what you were saying about the Estonian markets and you're opening up all the source code. But one single thing I would like to still raise up, which is the well-working home markets as well. So it's no use to open up the code to the companies if they don't have customers. So if they are starting to build on top of the open source and starting to develop products and services, they need to have customers in the home markets at the same time.
I think one key thing here is that we need to a little bit shift our thinking. We should think that the Nordic Plus is our home market, but at the same time we should think that the target big markets is the whole of EU at least.
Yeah, exactly.
So Finland, for example, it's way too small a market to just focus on this market only.
Yeah.
So we need to increase the ambition level.
Cool. Hey, let's proceed to the next topic. As I'm from a digitalization company, I wouldn't leave AI out of this discussion because every time we discuss about data and digital services, AI is now a topic. How do you see, what's the role of AI when it comes to digital transportation or mobility services going forward? And if there is a role, how should we do it in some sort of a secure and ethical way, as we all know the risks of AI also? Please, let's start with Timo. Go ahead.
Okay.
I know that you are the front lines of technology.
Yes, this is my expertise area, AI. But well, first comes to mind, it's one dangerous creature. But actually, I do not have that much to say. Anything else? I was thinking that what I've been worried about AI-related traffic systems is always the algorithms. We have a history to understand how the decisions have been actually made when something happens in the traffic, or at least if something not good happens, we should know how it happened. And I have a little bit of fear that how actually we in the future understand that, what are the algorithms and transparency of decision making.
How about you, Andy? I know that UK as a super service intensive country, you use AI a lot, at least in some areas. But what about in mobility and transport?
Yeah, AI is an interesting use case. Looking at the sort of core markets that we serve, the biggest value of AI is in making people work smarter, not necessarily harder, and taking away some of the what we say in the UK is low-hanging fruit, taking away the dull and repetitive tasks. A long time ago, when I still had hair that wasn't grey, I used to be what's known as a roster clerk on the railways, and I used one of the systems that we still provide to the UK sector. And week in, week out, I would go click, drag, and I'll be allocating people to instances of work in a train crew roster depot, and it would take me hours to go click, drag, and then my real time was then spent trying to compress all the difficult stuff into the sort of last hour and a half of my working day. AI can actually flip that on its head, do all the really straightforward click, drag stuff that is frankly a dull, monotonous task, and I say that for having done it for several years. Believe you me, it is a dull, monotonous task. But AI can do your clicking and dragging, and the value for your management team is your roster clerks actually solving resourcing problems. And you can extrapolate that across the piece. If I look at train planning, if you have a basic timetable, AI you can feed the machine that will learn the timetable planning rules, etc., etc., etc. But then all the difficult, complex things, it needs a human brain to solve those things. It can look at the nuances that perhaps a machine can't. And it never will, because it won't get it in the intuitive way that a human will. But for the moment, I think the use cases are very much around taking the grunt tasks, the low-hanging fruit away.
yeah, so there are use cases at least in a like planning phase of things. Yeah, cool. Eva, go ahead.
I really like this idea. I think that maybe a difficult thing or task is that people tend to be lazy, and then maybe these very basic tasks that they want to give to the AI, sometimes maybe the tasks that they tend to give to the AI are not so basic anymore. And then we will get to the worries that Timo mentioned. So there are, I think AI is definitely going to be there, but we have to be very clever. We will have a pilot project in city of Tallinn starting soon, where we are testing how the traffic light management could be like run by AI. We'll see. Will it be chaos or will it be success in Tallinn? But definitely, it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's key that you start with relatively simple use cases. So and make sure that the final decision that impact travelers or traffic users are done by human beings. So we have a few examples. So for example, we've had years of experience of using computer vision for detecting, for example, animals or people in tunnels or people on the tracks or things like that. That's example one. Example two, we are today using machine learning to estimate the estimated time of arrival for a vessel into a port several days before they are actually arriving. So, and we are providing that data, for example, to truck drivers who are coming to the port. Huge impact, a single data point. Third example is we are getting approximately 1 terabyte of new data every day. So that's huge amount of data. How do you make sense of that? Not by humans trying to make sense of that. Okay, AI is a perfect tool for trying to kind of come up with what are the suggestions, how do you predict what will be happening next, how do you simulate stuff. All of that AI is a key technology for making that happen.
Yeah. Somehow it feels like you found use cases from the planning side of things and also from business to business kind of situations. But what about customer facing solutions? Do you need any use of AI when it comes to customer facing solutions?
Yeah, absolutely. So for example, kind of a simple use case would be we have huge amount of data sets and I'm a traveler in the greater Helsinki area. Which route should I take? What should I be preparing for? All of that stuff instead of looking at a map with 150 data points. We should move from this kind of pure analytics to descriptive analytics that we are giving suggestion for the travelers.
Cool. Any elaborations on that? If not, let's proceed to the next phase. Regarding the operational environment and as we are in EU, someone said already that we are good at regulating things, and we have a lot of rules and regulations, for example, regarding sustainability and data privacy and so on. And of course, that poses some challenges to the organizations and businesses, but also I think that there might be also some opportunities when we somehow regulate the thing on a EU level. But how do you see it? For example, from the climate change related regulations, is it a challenge or is there also opportunities involved? And we could start with Eva, because that's, I suppose, that your area of expertise.
Yes. I think the digitalization is a really huge part of the climate change. And now come to one of my favorite topic of FT, Electronic Freight Transport Information Regulation, which will be compulsory for all the member states since from the 9th of July 2027. And we are very hopeful that it will be the case that and everybody would be able to accept electronic documents in 2027. And we have thought that and said that actually, even if FT is very, very small part of the business process that actually is happening. It's a backbone, and on top of that, we can build much more services that can be useful both for governments and also for businesses actually, because when the solution is not interesting and important for the businesses, then we could have like as many regulation as we want in the EU, but nothing is happening actually, because businesses are the ones that will be actually the driving part of the solutions. And I think that more and more customers also are asking the proof that the goods that are moving are produced in an environmental friendly way, and the logistics are environmentally friendly way. So there are a lot of things are happening there, and digitalization is huge part of this. Of course, the alternative fuels infrastructure is another part of it, but this is not the topic of today. And maybe I will say, give the floor.
Maybe Andy, you could go ahead.
Yeah, I think probably one of the things that we could, I look at the sort of solutions that we provide, and it's very much around improving workflows and improving efficiency and improving how people actually, how transport systems are executed and delivered. For me, if we can get that right and apply degrees of optimization or sensible levels of optimization, you're going to reduce waste, you're going to reduce your CO2 emissions, you're going to reduce all the carbon, anything else that you get any excesses are going to be reduced. So for me, that's probably where the value lies.
Cool.
Yeah, I fully agree with Andy. I was about to say about the same, that the smoother, the safer the traffic is and logistic is, the less there is emissions.
Yeah. Timo, anything to add?
Well, no. we heard three perfect comments already, so nothing to add.
Yeah, I have to say from a digital solution provider point of view, for example, the FT regulation, like when we have now built the solution for one country, we can also like distribute or try to sell it to another countries, as they have the same regulation and same kind of solution will serve their needs also. So it also gives business opportunities for companies like us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say that our thinking is that regulation it can be a driver for additional innovation. It can be a driver for additional business. So you shouldn't be thinking it purely as a bottleneck.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we have 5 minutes left, if I remember correctly. Finally, let's discuss about collaboration and cooperation. It's said already here many times that that's some sort of a key to drive innovation, new business, better services for citizens and so on. But like, what would be your key message or key takeaways? How should we do better collaboration, cooperation in practice? Like not just discuss about collaboration, but actually do collaboration. What should we do in practice? Timo, go ahead.
Yes, well, this is actually interesting topic. We talked about a while ago of fostering innovations and how to leverage assets and so it's not that actually simple to think that how we could actually get the well-working home markets and first of all, I have to say that I do not have a long history of open source, or I'm not the open source geek or anything, but I've been reading some European Union open source strategies, and they say that public authorities not only should use open source, but they should also join the communities and actually establish and facilitate those. So I think that would be one potential way of going forward, that instead of starting the projects behind the closed doors and come out with the solution and then opening up the solution. We should do those solutions together in open source communities. That might be one way of going forward.
Cool, thanks. What about Andy? Any thoughts on this topic?
It's similar sort of comments, really. Come to the supply chain with problem statements. So look, we have this issue. How can we solve it? What is it? How could you add value to our organisation? Because there is for private businesses to be involved, of course, there needs to be revenue and profit involved. But ultimately, resolution of the problem there is going to be a benefit for the person with the problem. They get rid of their issue. They benefit. The private companies, they will obtain revenue and profit, as I said. But involve the supply chain in generating the problem statement. If we can try and solve it with you, we may, if I think it's also incumbent on the private sector to be honest and say, actually, we can't help you with that. But I think if you brought in X, Y, and Z, or these other businesses, we could solve it together. But we're only part of the answer, and not try and do it all just to keep the business. So I think it's going to require honesty and integrity from everybody, but also an upfront disclosure of what it is we're trying to solve.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be open about the problems. What are the impacts? You have to be open about the concerns, why we don't want to be solving this problem, because sometimes it's good business to be part of the problem, even better than being part of the solution. Another thing what I would like to say is that there are plenty of good existing ecosystems and collaboration, kind of whatever type of organization like ITS Finland or Traffic Data Ecosystem. We have plenty of these Nordic different collaboration ecosystems. Join those, be active in those, because the more active you are, the better results we will get from all of these participants. And like Andy said, kind of we need to understand the users, we need to understand the whole supply chain, and understand what might be the concerns between different parties.
Exactly. Cool.
Yes, I would like to say that I really like ITS communities. ITS Estonia is doing a really good job also, because we have good collaboration with them. Quite many ministries of Estonia are also part of the ITS Estonia. So we within the working groups, we know and hear from the sources what are the problems for the private sector, and then they can hear from us what are our concerns, and together we can find the solution. So collaboration is a key.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks. It seems that we are on, like, again. No. All good. Thank you all. This was a good discussion. Let's continue the discussion on a break. And what I was hearing from your discussion was like we should do things more business-driven, customer-driven way. Meaning that let's not just together think that what would be the best possible solutions, but let's take all the representatives from the customer side and business side together and try to actually think that how could we drive more better services, more better business, and so on. Cool. But hey, thanks. We are on time. That was about it.
Thank you so much. That was a very good panel and very good, very well done. Please collect your lovely gifts. I won't spoil what it is, but it is chocolate, and it's actually the best chocolate. So there you go, even from us from Norway. Before I will give the floor to our Korean friends and Sanghee Park, I will just remind you that Nordic Plus, and Janne also talked a bit about it, we will be present at the Intertraffic and have a pavilion at the Intertraffic in Amsterdam 10th of March. So if you want to continue the collaboration with all the Nordic companies and the Nordic Plus companies and both private, public and academia, I will encourage you to join us. and be part of that community and the family. So I would like to give the floor to Ms. Sanghee Park from the Startup and SME Growth Support Division of the Korean Agency for Infrastructure Technology Advancement, KAIA, and she will do a short introduction. Please, and give her a warm applause. The floor is yours.
Okay. Hello everyone, I am Sanghee Park from KAIA, the Korea Agency for Infrastructure Technology Advancement. It's a pleasure to be here today at the ITS Finland First Seminar. Today I'd like to share how Korea is driving the future of smart mobility through technology innovation, national ITS strategies, and global collaboration with Europe through our GMEP 2025 program. KAIA is a quasi-governmental institution under the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport of Korea, or simply MOLIT. We are a government agency specialized in R&D management and in supporting the scale of SMEs and startups in the fields of land infrastructure and transport, of course. Our mission is to contribute to creating future growth engines and improving people's quality of life by innovating and fostering science and technology in these areas. In short, KAIA connects research, technology, and industry to make transport systems smarter and people's lives better. That's why we say KAIA is where innovation begins and where Korea leads. KAIA focuses on 12 breakthrough technologies that shape the future of Korea's land infrastructure and transport sectors. They are organized into three key areas: mobility innovation, carbon neutrality, and digital transformation in construction. Among these, mobility innovation is the core of our vision. It's about creating faster, safer, and more connected transport systems for everyone. We are developing next-generation mobility technologies, including autonomous driving, urban air mobility is called UAM, and the Hypertube and user-oriented transport mobility services. And we are also building smart logistics systems that connect road, air, and data. Together, these innovations are transforming transport systems to be smarter, safer, and more connected from the ground to the sky. To support these innovations, Korea established a 10-year national ITS master plan. It ranges from 2021 to 2030, with the vision of people-centered transport services that are eco-friendly, safe, and seamlessly connected. The plan focuses on 4 key goals: safety, efficiency, connectivity, and sustainability. We are expanding ITS nationwide, allowing vehicles, roads, and infrastructure to communicate in real time. For example, in school zones, drivers get alerts about crossings or stopped school buses. It simply helps everyone drive more safely. We are also building an AI-based ITS traffic control center to integrate local systems and manage signals, incidents, and congestion efficiently across the country. Together, these efforts are turning Korea into a smart, connected mobility society where transport systems truly serve people. Building on this foundation, KAIA operates the Global Market Expansion Program, or simply GMEP 2025. This program helps Korean innovative startups expand to Europe in partnership with Vertical in Finland, Beta House in Germany, and Nautilus Investment in Korea. During November, these startups are based in Berlin and Helsinki. They connect with European investors, corporates, and innovation hubs, and also participate in major events like Slushy, as you know, and the Asia Summit, Asia Berlin Summit. The program serves as a bridge between Korea's innovation ecosystem and Europe's leading technology networks. It's fostering open innovation and building long-term collaboration. And finally, I'd like to invite you to meet our startups and partners this November. We'll start with the K-Startup Demo Day in Helsinki on November 17th, followed by Slushy 2025 on November 19th and 20th. Then the Asian Berlin Summit on November 21st and 25th. And finally, the K-Startup Demo Day in Berlin on November 26th. Each of these events will be a great opportunity to connect, to share insights, and to explore partnerships between Korea and Europe. It's been a real honor to share KAIA's vision with you today, and I hope this is just the beginning. Thank you very much, kiddos. 감사합니다.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sanghee Park, for that introduction. Just a one question. ITS World Congress will be held in October next year in, sorry for my pronunciation, in Gangneung. Can somebody help me here? And will you also be there? Because we are from the Nordic Plus, we are planning to come and visit the ITS World Congress and also do a study tour.
Yeah.
Yes, so hopefully we will have some interaction from your November kind of actions in and meeting you in Korea next year.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Break and some great talks. We've been through 2 interesting sessions already. A lot of good panel and presentation talks. Shall not forget sustainability and zero emission. And we will have we will not have a panel, but we will have 4 presentations. Which will be given by the gentlemen on the screen. And as you now seated, and I will give the floor to Emil, who will start his part of the session. So please welcome Emil Rauma from Virta and give him a big applause.
Good. Can you hear me? Lovely. Let's get forward. Oh, sorry, too fast. Okay, so quite a high-level topic, what digitalization means for charging industry. I'll be focusing on 3 very relative and nowadays topics: flexibility, regulations, and new risks, or are these risks opportunities. A couple of words from my background. So now 3 years been at Virta, head of government relations and partnerships, been 1.5 years the chairman of the board of Finnish Electric Mobility Association and also a board member at ITS Finland, used to work back there. Now about Virta, EV charging platform, one of the largest in Europe, much more than 120,000 charging points are run on our platform, more than 200 people working at us, and we have grown quite well within the last year. So to put it mildly, Virta 2014-2024 fastest growing company in the whole Europe. So not bad. Of course, everybody who's been looking at the industry know that for the last, let's say, 1 or 2 years, it's been quite a bloodshed, but we will stay strong and continue the great success story of Finnish EV charging companies. There's many more also here available. So 3 topics we'll be covering today: flexibility, regulation, market environment, and new risks, or are they actually opportunities? What do they have to do with security and resilience? Background: 80% of new electricity production that came online last year came from renewables. The amount of renewables is going to double in next 5 years, and it's from solar, it's from wind. As everybody knows, not all hours are windy, not all hours are sunny, so there's huge differences in when there's available electricity, how cheap it is. This means that there's going to be huge increase in price volatility of electricity. We have seen it in Finland. Last year, average rate for electricity was 6.6 cents, but the highest peaks were more than 80 cents an hour, and the cheapest one were minus 10 cents per hour. Huge increases. What we need to do, because we need to always balance supply and demand, we need flexibility from somewhere. And it's one way is to use batteries. 85% of batteries are actually coming from EVs, and they are actually quite an underutilized asset at the moment. And we at Virta try to enable everybody who has an EV to access their battery and capitalize it for your own benefit. Now, actually what we are doing, these are a couple of weeks old images. We have actually at our headquarters, Ruoholahti, virtual power plant demo site, which is actually operational, so you can see how things actually work. And they, by the way, actually work. We are making money with all of these services, participating in the flexibility services, providing various energy services to our clients. Next week we'll be happy actually having 2 of the world's largest OEMs coming to visit that site. Interesting to see how they like that. Then regulations. This is one of my not favorite pictures, done it myself. I call it a regulatory jungle. What it means, we at European Commission Union, we are excellent at drowning ourselves in regulations. And I really mean it. I've been at the industry at EV for 3 years, and the amount of regulatory burden has more than quadrupled during that time. Not an easy peasy. If somebody knows the name Bengt Holmström, quite a genius guy, a couple of days ago they released with 2 professors Constitution of Innovation, what Europe should do to be competitive in the future. Read it. That's good hardcore text. One, let's say, hint, there's lots about deregulating stuff. Now, but okay, markets, regulation, some positive things. Actually, how many people are from UK? Raise your hands. Lovely. I congratulate you, because UK, Finland, about the best places globally to do business with flexibility with electric vehicles. Reasons being that actually there's not that much regulation. We started early on. Finnish, UK, let's say, TSOs, DSOs, government officials have allowed the players of the industry to leverage decentralized assets, aka batteries or electric vehicles, to participate ancillary markets, flexibility markets. And there's not, let's say, too many regulations or reasons what kind of asset do you have, as long as it stays within the given borders, meaning, for example, that you can activate your flexibility asset in 2 seconds. Go ahead with electric vehicles. In most markets, actually, that's not the case. Even if you would be able to, let's say, leverage your EVs within 2 seconds, lower the charging by 90%, you are still not able to participate in markets. So, UK, Finland doing great, but the markets barriers need to be removed from other places. Then, actually, we'll be skipping to my last final point, the darkest one we have, but also I think the most interesting one, because there's huge amount of risks, aka huge amount of opportunities regarding electric vehicle charging infrastructure. Now, we are importing 450 billion euros of fossil fuels to Europe each and every year. Those fossil fuels, apart from Norway, do not come from countries that are, let's say, in too good terms with Europe. What this means is that most of the actual fossil fuels are consumed in the transport sector. What is happening in the transport sector is that we are drastically, rapidly moving towards electrification. No more need for fossil fuel imports. What this also means at the same time is that there's an unwanted interest towards electric vehicles and unwanted interest towards electric vehicles charging infrastructure. Let's say a case example. 5 years ago, we saw that there was this kind of opportunistic attacks towards charging infrastructure. Somebody, single person somewhere noticed that there's a bug. Okay, I will leverage that bug to get free charging or do something else. Things evolved. Then you had professional criminal gangs in Europe who leveraged these exploits, started doing attacks, etc., to gain monetary benefits. What we are seeing now, it's not anymore criminal gangs. It's national states who are actually all the time trying to attack charging software platforms, gain access to battery management systems of EVs. This is a game where we are pitted against national players. Back when I was doing my military service, the country was referred as country yellow, so let's just put that it's country yellow. No names mentioned, country yellow. And what we have done, also topic, last November, EV charging infrastructure was deemed part of critical infrastructure in Europe. Hey, good guys, you figured it out, it's part of the critical infrastructure. Maybe you should have done something a little bit before. We in Finland have done something a little bit before. We have an emergency supply agency, government, soon an agency that basically controls, helps Finland to maintain our resiliency, emergency supply. What they're doing with companies is that they have these kind of pools, technology pool, let's say agriculture pool, digi pool, and those pools are formed up of companies that are deemed critical for the civil society and society to run in a situation of crisis. We are doing lots of training in these pools and sharing information to be better prepared when a crisis hits, because it will hit at some point. And now it seems that the Finnish way of doing things and preventing crises, especially escalating, it has a value. Because I can tell you, if you go to a country X in Europe, the situation with charging infrastructure, security, resiliency, it's not there where it should be. Because 2 years ago, 3 years ago, today, not everybody is seeing that things are as grey as they are. They are quite grey. But that said, every risk is a new opportunity. If you have done your homework, if you have invested quite a lot of resources on making your platform resilient, you should be able to sell it. Because situation nowadays, geopolitics, it's not the same as it used to be. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Emil. As always, invigorating. I noticed that you didn't mention Norway, but I counted. We were almost the same as UK. You need to use the microphone.
I mean, enabling participation to flexibility markets, for example.
No, I'm just no, kidding aside. If you think about Norway being the having the largest electric vehicle fleets in Europe on ground, what is the biggest barrier from your point of view there in order to be the flexible, as you're saying?
Because you sprinted too fast. The ecosystem is not operating. There's no interoperability. There's no roaming. You started running before you knew how to walk, so to speak. And if you are investing 20 billion euros of taxpayers' money, which they have the cash is there, so no problem with that, then you start running.
Yeah, I think I have some remarks, but I will actually leave it to that, and we can continue the discussion later, because I'm not going to fall into that trap. Thank you so much. A big applause for Emil. Can I ask if Jukka-Pekka Tuominen, is he here? There he is. And now, Jukka-Pekka, your presentation. Big applause to you. Welcome.
Thank you. Is it right? Yes. Okay. Good afternoon. Okay, yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Jukka Tuominen from Amazon Web Services, and I'm not talking about more about AWS. Yes, good.
To the right.
Okay. I'm talking today about generative artificial intelligence in the transportation and logistics sector. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, and a small agenda what I'm talking today. I'm introduce AI and transportation logistic use cases. We in AWS, we have found that there are three major use cases in this industry: workflow and process automation, chatbot, voice bots and assistants, and also data synthesis and predictive maintenance. Today we are only concentrated to chatbot, voice bots and assistants because I have a limited time. And at the end I'm talking also like our customer reference train line. If we think about generative AI, it represents a revolutionary force, technology innovation. It isn't only like an incremental improvement, but it's reshaping the business, enhance creativity and unlock new possibilities in every sector of the economy. And as you have seen in headlines, there is a lot of happening in this sector. Gen AI, it's a new class of AI that generates content, insights and decisions in real time. And what does it mean for different modes of transport? For example, to airlines, smarter scheduling or smoother passenger flow, to railways, predictive maintenance or optimal train timings, to postal services, automated like sorting or delivery route planning, making the things much easier. Public transport, like a dynamic scheduling, more reliable information. Ports, what they utilize from this, it's a quick cargo routing or smoother customs declarations. All these kind of things are possible using generative AI. And if any of these modes of transport have a customer service center, so 24 citizen and customer support, supporting drivers, lorry drivers with different chatbots and different virtual assistants, and maybe automated compliance and safer transit. And not to mention about or to forgetting greener fleets, sustainability, as we have heard also earlier. So as I said, that there are three top use cases for generative AI in transportation and logistics. So the first category, workflow and process automation. Basically it means operational excellence, like route planning, inventory management. The second category, which we are concentrated today, chatbots, voice bots and assistants, which means basically conversational AI and virtual assistants, like the customer chatbots, customer experience to lorry drivers, car drivers. And the third category, data synthesis and predictive maintenance, it's combining diverse data sources to model traffic flow. So these are some examples what are like generally the use cases. And today we are really concentrated to this chatbot, voice bots, and assistants. Conversational AI and virtual assistants. It's like intelligence virtual assistants, which can be used using natural language processes, requiring information and giving some kind of advice what I could do. Let me walk you through how AI is revolutionizing with transportation and logistics sector. So what are the industry challenges? Delayed response to different customer inquiries, status updates done manually, routine type of request, high volume of them, and language barrier in global operations. How generative AI can help. For example, multilingual virtual assistants. It's possible to change the language from English to Chinese, from Chinese to French, nearly in real time. That's making it smoother the communication in the global supply chain. Real-time shipment tracking bots automatically give me where the material is coming. Driver support chatbots, helping like lorry drivers once we are driving or normal consumers. And intelligence query resolution, but you only won't get a response, but also something is happening. And what are the real benefits? Like a true 24/7 instant support. It doesn't happen what time of the day it is. Reduced response time and improved customer and driver satisfaction, which is important thing, but customers are delighted about the service. I'm today talking about one of our customer references, Trainline. Trainline is the Europe most downloaded rail travel app, 55 million downloads. It's used in 40 countries and over 270 operators. And you could imagine that it's quite complex infrastructure which is behind this. And the real meaning has been to build like a nice user interface and that the users can't see what's happening in the background. And Trainline is not a small organization. They are fully IT organization. They have 1,000 employees in UK. So actually, 5 months last year, they started to build the travel AI solution, and they built it 5 months. They were using Amazon Bedrock, which is our fully managed infrastructure service for generative AI, AWS serverless technology, which is our serverless technology, and also Bedrock guardrails. Guardrails are steering the development work, but it's secure and we get the secure output. What are the benefits? 88% of conversations is handled autonomously. No person who is doing there. It's available to all UK iOS users. Currently it's in a soft launch. It's not yet in production, but 10,000 conversation has been done already. Response time 14 seconds compared to the earlier 100 seconds. And something about the customer learnings. If you are building this kind of agented AI solution, you need to plan it upfront, and that takes a little bit time. But when you can scale in the later and get like a future innovations and future releases much easier. And what has been built? So this is actually the chatbot for customer service. For example, if you have bought a ticket and by some reason you want the replacement and get a refund about it, you can do it using this application, and there is no human in the loop. And you could imagine that 270 operators and 40 different countries. And lastly, some hints if you are planning to build generative AI. First, move quickly. Get the results soon so that the top executives in your company believes it. And select the right use case and data sets. And second, learn and organize. The teams who are building these solutions, they need to learn, and they need to also making some errors. But once they learn, they innovate also much quicker. And last, scale. So build your people, build your process and technology as you scale. And that's like generative AI, some experiences, and especially Trainline has this experience. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Jukka. Can I use your voice to train my PT for Agent AI? I would love that. Can you just say, one man, one show? I would get up and train. Excellent. Thank you so much, Jukka.
Yeah, thank you.
Lovely. I love that voice. Don't you? Yes, good. Thank you. Somebody reacted. Akseli, where are you? There you are. Welcome on stage. Your 10 minutes is about to start. So give a big applause to both Jukka, who ended, and Akseli, who's coming on the stage. Thank you.
Hello everyone and happy Thursday. My name is Akseli Kataja and I'm working for a company called BioRex. We are a Finnish software company located all around our Finland, and today I'm delighted to speak more of the solutions that we have built around mobility in smart city use cases and what kind of new businesses we have developed around them. So just a brief background. BioRex, like mentioned, it is a Finnish software company. At the moment we have, I think, more than 350 IoT and AI experts and more than 25 years of experience in the industry. As you can see from the slides, it's a Finnish service flagship product, so all of the software that we produce, it's produced here in Finland, but our business scales globally. At the moment, our business sectors really divide in two categories. So first of all, we have really extensive background of custom software development. So we have done everything from the embedded side to security and the cloud and everything in between. Other thing that we are really focusing on is our own product line. Today I'll be mostly focusing on IoT ticket, which is widely used in mobility in smart cities in general. So IoT ticket, what is it all about? It is an IoT platform where you can integrate basically any sort of data source. Connect the data, harmonize it, build a digital twin of the city, for example. It isn't just a data platform. We are also, IoT ticket is having features related to AI and data analytics, and with IoT ticket you can of course harmonize the data, but you can build your own custom dashboards, UIs, and analytics with basically low-code tools. So what that means, you can build the applications by yourself without actually single line of code. Our focused industries at the moment, we have 5. We have more of an industrial background, but lately we have been going to a lot of different industries, such as moving machines. Energy is really big for us. building management, and today mostly I'll be talking about smart cities. So one thing I wanted to highlight is that with IoT Ticket, AI is incorporated in the core of IoT Ticket. We believe in mobility. It is also essential, and it's the future to adapt with IoT features. So for example here, you can see that you can integrate the data to the platform, but you can also use features such as ONNX models. You can use machine learning, large language models, etc. with the platform. In smart cities and in mobility, one thing from the AI side I want to highlight is definitely computer vision systems. So nowadays, smart cities, for example, are utilizing a lot of computer vision. So existing infrastructure like surveillance cameras can be used for advanced analytics, for example traffic counting and different analytics on the mobility, people flow, etc. There are just some use cases in the background that can be built with computer vision systems. So we can monitor what kind of people flow there are in city spaces, how many people are moving around, what kind of speeds they are going. You can develop, for example, security-based analytics and so on. On the right-hand side, you can have analytics also based on cars, such as automatic number plate recognition cases. For smart cities, we really try to help city decision makers to basically make more data-driven decisions. So, for example, in cities, clients today they face increasing pressure to cut carbon emissions, improve efficiency, and enhance security. Yet, still today, many struggle to connect the different data sources together, implement AI and such. IoT Ticket, it really helps with to save money and cut carbon footprint, lead with a bit bigger picture and boost urban vitality. And how we actually do it? Like mentioned, with IoT Ticket, we can integrate different sort of IoT sensors. We can integrate smart poles. We can integrate cameras with computer vision, access management, SCADA systems, all in one platform. Make a digital twin and add artificial intelligence layer on top of it, as well as custom built UIs and so on. So it's kind of all-in-one IoT platform for smart cities. One customer case I wanted to highlight is the city of Tampere, who are really innovative with computer vision systems at the moment. So the city of Tampere, it is the largest inland city in the Nordic countries, and we won the procurement for the IoT and lighting platform a few years back. It started actually with a use case related to lighting controlling and management, but we have expanded a lot, and I would say that today mobility is definitely one of the biggest sectors there. There is some simple architecture picture where you can see what sort of use cases we have been building around there, what sort of sensors are we utilizing, and so on. So in the cities platform, mobility is one use case, but there are quite a lot of others besides that as well. How this looks like in the city environment? How are we scaling new business models on top of existing service? One example I wanted to give is Ice Hockey World Championships 2022. We had one goal to actually measure how many people are moving around the area, what is the people flow. We wanted to recognize certain situations from the environment, and what we did was implement computer vision system to the surrounding areas of Nokia Arena. We measured how many people are moving around the area, and we got some concrete results that how many people the event actually attracts to. After that, we have found new businesses around that specific pilot case. For example, here you can see this is the traffic planning solution for the city of Tampere. Nowadays,
we have been scaling the camera solutions all around the city of Tampere, as well as integrating every other data source that city of Tampere uses. So it's not just the cameras, it can be, for example, eco counters, it can be traffic light measurement points. We bring this all together on the platform, and besides that we are also trying to, of course, further develop the data sets that we have. So it's not all about integrating data to one place, but we want to expand what can we get out of the data. Tampere Pulse is a great example. It's an application that is basically for anyone to use. You can see that how many people are moving around a certain area at specific time in the future. So this helps, for example, companies to predict the people flow in the environment. They can schedule their opening hours, their staff, and so on based on the prediction. And we are also utilizing it in different use cases. You can use data, for example, dynamic street lighting control. I'm running a bit out of time, but 2 cases I want to still highlight is that you can build a lot of different custom software with computer vision, for example. In the left hand side, you can see that we are actually monitoring the traffic flow on crossing roads to help city decision makers to make the environment a bit safer place. So, for example, we have been noticing that the streets there, people are crossing the roads from wrong places, basically, causing some dangerous situation, and what we wanted to make sure of this with the computer vision system, which actually follows up what kind of lanes people are moving around. And of course you can do also scale these services to other clients. For example, Vaasa, they are utilizing the same services as Tampere. In the traffic volumes, they are utilizing the same kind of infrastructure and so on. Another way we are scaling our services is to focus on certain topics. For example, traffic. You don't have to buy a whole IoT platform with tens of use cases. You can just buy the one you actually need. It can be related to traffic, for example, Traffic Scout, and so on. And this all is done together with our partnerships. So we know that there are some areas that we might not be the best experts. That's why we want to collaborate with other businesses as well. For example, there are Telia. They have our IoT platform for all of the IoT services. They are the telecommunication specialist. We are the IoT specialist. On the other hand, there is Axis. They provide city cameras, which we need for smart city use cases. And we provide the IoT platform. So the key message here, let's continue developing and succeeding together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akseli. I didn't mean to stress you there. I understand I might be a bit of a frightening figure there, but thank you so much. And please have your gift as well, and thank you for your presentation. I will then quickly move on to Marko Melander. He is already there. He is anxiously waiting for his part to present. Your 10 minutes, and they start running now. Please welcome Markus on stage.
Anything happening? Yes. Okay. My name is Markus Melander. I'm a startup entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. My first startup was in AI business, started in 2014 before it was hype. We sold that to Vaisala, and then I took even a harder challenge that let's make a business to the railways. And the barrier of entry is really huge, and the differentiation matters more than almost in any other industry, I would say. And we have been really successful in our small terms, being still a quite early phase company. 4 years in the market, doing this year roughly 750,000 euros revenue, employing 6 people, serving our clients globally. So quite a good thing. What is our domain inside of the big railway industry is that we are focusing on the big change in the railways, which is open standards. The railway has used to be in silos, dictated by a one provider for a certain lane or the region of the railway. And now it's opening. It will be a little bit different in the future than it is at the moment. And it's opening door for newcomers, and we are one of those. But before going into my business and other issues more in detail, I try to be a little bit interactive because I have a sort of storyline to build for you. I know you are all a little bit tired, so now please be prepared. Stand up. I have a question for you. So, do you consider that the technology development is always positive? So please be seated if you think this is the way. We are technocrats and we believe in the technology. So is it always positive or not? What do you think? Somebody sits down. Yeah, I think. Yeah, you want to sit. That might be the reason. Yeah. Okay. Many of you are still standing. This is good. So please then stay in the position you are. It's good for you and your health. Because I had like this is really connected to my true message. But the first example, because I also consider that it is not always good, or it is always good, but there is some kind of aspect that it is not naturally so. So think about the case. E-scooters, wonderful, yes. But if you compare that to walking, yeah, we might face some issues. Lifestyle disease, not an offense to anybody, but you might get overweighted in the course of your life to the older time. It's not positive in a sense. So you need to understand when to use it and not to neglect the good habits that you are having. Okay, now please be seated if you want. The other issue, already mentioned, the AI tools and so forth. So it's quite at the moment in the software technology environment where I'm coming from, the wipe coding is a really big thing. How many of you have heard about wipe coding? Not all. Okay, this is interesting. Please study this. This is really, really important issue at the moment. Each of you can easily and quickly be a developer. Wow, it's wonderful. It makes everything so easy and oh, we love it. But you know, here is the same issue than it is with the e-scooters. If you use it wrong, if you just get overwhelmed, you go all over it and you will face problems. So in the technology development, there is always the downside if you are misusing it or you are not focusing rightly or you don't understand fully what are the long-term consequences. And this is really on topic, so please, if nothing else you won't remember from this day or my presentation, please remember and study. What is the wipe coding? What are the challenges that it's important? Nothing to do my main business. But now you are knowing where I'm going. So what about the digitalization on railways? What about the standardization on the railways? So the railway industry is coming about 20 years in behind of the industry automation systems. So now in this domain of intelligent transportation systems, I would say that the railway industry in its core security and safety related functions, it's obsolete. It's really old technology. They work, yes, like nuclear plants work from the 16s in the same way, but they are quite old fashioned. And okay, and digitalization, what's happening? It's going to be even more expensive. So we are going to digitalize our signaling industry in railways, and we are facing a problem not only in Europe, but globally. Prices are going through the roof. Why so? More technology, more work, more complicated software, shorter life cycles. The old system used to stay operational 30 years. We are in a situation that the digital safety system life cycle is 15 years. Computers need to be changed. Interesting, isn't it? So the technology is not always good. Okay, on the other hand, yes, it is, but you need to know what to do. And now we go into the case story that what we are working on. So welcome to the EU Lynx. The European Railway Authorities launched it in 2014 on attempt to make an open standardization for the interfaces of the core of the safety systems in the railways. This is for the track side, and maybe you have heard about ERTMS or ETCS, so that is for the train side. And the open standard really did open the market, and we are existing. The Relais is existing because of this. And it's a really nice thing. And what is basically then happening with this industry? Okay, yes, smaller companies can come to the industry. Smaller companies from South Korea or from UK and Finland, they can collaborate better than ever before. And in business-wise, this is what is happening. So in the right-hand side picture, you can see the current status. So there is like a two companies, example from Finland. Siemens is having like a strong footprint. Certain areas are dictated by the technology. And it's a vendor lock situation. Nobody comes there if Siemens doesn't allow. Or you can come there, but really, really costly. And the same with the smaller player from Finland called Mipro. And this is not like nothing against this setting. But everybody understands that when you are in a vendor lock, you might be happy, but it can be costly. That's the natural thing. And the new thing with the open standards here in the in the right-hand side, it looks like this. I call it a infrastructure manager-centric system. So now, because of the open standards, you can start cherry-picking. But when you go cherry-picking, that's not very easy. New kind of procurement, new kind of understanding. If you want to move smart and not to be in vendor lock, you need to be smarter. It's like an option that you want to build a house for your family. You take it from the one contractor with the one bill, or you tender for multiple providers and you enjoy the workload, but maybe you also save some money and you can have better solution for the specific purposes. So this is what is happening. And this is now explanatory, because my title was a bit that, okay, what is the cooperation possibilities and digitalization in railways? So the railways is now entering to the chance of getting really big time in digitalization and open standards and modern and more flexible solutions. And this is how it will happen, and this is how it will look in the future. And it's interesting that the Finland is tailor-placing this issue. In Finland there is a Digirata program, let's say multi-billion euro digitalization program. The first kind of the world using the U-Lynx, making it modular. And it's good chance for us companies in Finland to be involved. Couple of things, sorry for holding. There was visitors from UK. Anybody left anymore? No one? Okay. Yes. Yeah, there are. Yes, great. Yes. UK, I love you. in this topic, I wanted to show this one web page because you have taken really strategic approach. You have set a target to cut down the signaling cost more than half. And the story I'm telling you is part of it. And for example, in Finland, if there is someone from the ministry, we can't see this. We can't see in such a strategic manner the UK Network Rail has published their objective and they have set their strategic plan and they are really doing it. It's great. Is there anybody in South Korean left here? There are. Wonderful. So I have an example also from your country. So this is about the cooperation. So DAETI, I don't know if you know this company, but it's quite respected South Korean railway provider. And they are also selected now to use the open standard of U-Lynx. And I was super happy that the R&D director visited our office, flew from Seoul through Frankfurt to Helsinki to meet us for 6 hours because they wanted to meet the best railway software company related to the open standards in Finland. Think about it. Isn't it like a place for applause? But this is the cooperation that we can create when there is open standards in place. I will skip the last slide because I'm running out of time and someone is angry for me. But this is actually the last one. That we have a great offering. I know this doesn't matter for you guys because you are not from railways, many of you, but this has been built in Finland, and I'm super proud that half of our business is coming abroad. This is what the Finland needs. Crazy entrepreneurs jumping to the crazy industry and making things happen. That's me. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Markus. I'm debating. Markus, wait. You also get your gift for that, and thank you so much. Yes, who doesn't love that? And I'm debating if I use Jukka or Markus as my PT as a agentic AI voice, because I'm not sure. But anyway, before we get to concluding remarks from Marko, I would like to extend the invitation to two lovely gentlemen from the UK that have been patiently waiting for their turn. And if I can extend well, now I finally lost my words at the end of the day. But Max Sugarman and Eric Sampson from the UK, and if you, the floor is yours. There you go. I got all flushed here. Sorry about that.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, just a big thank you to everyone here today, and to ITS Finland and ITS Estonia and ITS Latvia. We've been doing a visit over the last 4 days across the 3 countries, and it's been an incredibly warm welcome that we've all had. And I think on behalf of all the Brits here, thank you so much for making us feel so welcome. I've been asked to talk briefly, and I'm going to bring Eric in as the expert on the congresses as well, to talk about Birmingham 2027. I wanted to ask for a show of hands. I won't make you stand up, but who here has been to Birmingham? Oh, okay, we're doing well. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm very pleased that some of the Brits put their hands up as well. I would have been more shocked if you hadn't. Well, in 2027, in 2 years' time, literally in 2 years' time, next month, we have the ITS World Congress coming to Birmingham in October. And it's a massive opportunity for us, but it's also a great opportunity for the global ITS community to come and see what we're doing in the UK. And actually, thank you to the presenters who've mentioned things like Trainline, T190, a project actually I worked on at Network Rail when I was working in the rail industry. And it gives you an example of actually some of the things that we're doing in the UK. But to give you a bit of an overview of Birmingham, it's a £117 billion economy, and has about 4.5 million people living in the West Midlands area. It has one of the fastest growing tech economies in the UK, and about 60% of the UK's automotive R&D is based in the West Midlands. It has an incredible automotive history. Jaguar Land Rover are based there, and a whole number of other automotive companies. And actually, it's also excelling in future transport and mobility as well. So it was designated 5 years ago as a future transport zone, which meant that it's pioneered in areas like mobility credits and MAS, in things like demand responsive transport, and a whole range of other transport technologies as well. So it's a really great opportunity to come and see Birmingham, to come and see what we're doing, and also engage with the international ITS community. The date for it is, I thought I'd have it up, the 24th and 25th of October. I should have that to heart. But yes, October 2027. It's at the NEC in Birmingham, which is amazingly connected to the rest of the country. You can get all around the UK if you want to come and visit. It's also got an airport attached to it, which is really useful for those coming from abroad. And it's a really great venue for lots of international trade shows. So do come along, do be part of it. Eric, do you want to say something about Congress as well?
Max has been doing the specific. I wanted to say something general. In 1993, as the chairman of the Etico Supervisory Board, I went to a meeting in America with other regions from around the world, and over coffee, or possibly gin and tonic, there was a long discussion about the fact that there were numerous small specialized meetings, and a number of people said what we need is something that's bigger and broader. So we invented the ITS World Congress. And a year later, stupidly, we volunteered to host it in Europe, in Paris. So the first ITS World Congress took place in Paris. I had hair back in those days too. Later on, I was very pleased to be able to lead the team that delivered London 2006, and I'm now supporting Birmingham. The ITS World Congresses are brilliant. The word collaboration has been used many times today. In 1775, the then King of England, also called Charles, asked Isaac Newton, the inventor of gravity, how come you did this, Mr. Newton, or something like that. And he said, "Sire, if I have seen further than others, it is because I have stood on the shoulders of giants." The World Congresses are not just your chance to stand on the shoulders of giants. It's the chance to talk to them, to ask questions, to challenge them. But it's also your chance to be a giant. Don't hold back. Get your papers in, get your session proposals in. Basically, come to the congresses, take part. You can't win if you're not part of it. So that's my recommendation. It's not just for the Birmingham Congress coming up. Go to South Korea. I've seen some of the planning for the Gangneung Congress. It's going to be brilliant. So I urge you, collaborate. Get ahead of your colleagues. Stand on the shoulders of giants.
And just to say, I did just check, 25th to 29th of October 2027. I will not be making that mistake again of forgetting.
A big applause. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Excellent. Before I haven't really decided yet if I give my final remarks now, Marko, but I do so, and then I'll give the word to you so you can end up the show because it's your show. What are they? Thank you so much for being such a brilliant audience, for participating. Good and great talks on the side. This is what we want to do. We want to collaborate, and this is how we are progressing on it. And the fun fact is that even though I was told that it's streamed, I kind of forgot about it. So I haven't even addressed the audience online and say, hey, thank you for joining us. And there were about 100 people joining. So it's a bit embarrassing for me not to kind of address them as well. So sorry about that. We also have this as a recording that it will be out on the ITS Finland webpage afterwards. But I would like to do a thank you for my Finnish friends and colleagues that I collaborate with. Not only do they pay my ticket over here to get to meet my parents, which I try to do every now and then, and I go, don't you have something for me to do in Finland? Please pay my ticket, and they stupidly or kindly do so. But I'm very pleased with the collaboration we do have. But I want to thank Alex, who's there, wave nicely, and for his work, for putting together the program. I might want to remind you that next time, please contact me and we can help having some women on the stage as well. I think there are a lot of good women that also can talk about the subjects that we have today. Sunny, who is there, please step lovely Sunny ahead. Great lady to work with. I've been happily working with her for many years now. I'm looking forward to many years to come. And then we have Aro, who was handling the name tags, but I don't know where he went. But let's give the young Aro. Oh, there he is. Yes, sorry, Aro. There's very good. And of course, the chief himself, Marko Forsblom, who's always happy, positive, no negative remarks. And I want to thank you for putting this together, the team that has been handling the visits to both UK in the spring, but now to Latvia and to Estonia and to Lahti. So please welcome Marko Forsblom on stage as the rock star he is. Come on, yay! Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Jenny. Positive as always. Always bragging and mocking. Final conclusions. I want to say those true 5 C's. And first of those C's is collaboration. It has mentioned here so many times today, but all those times came from a reason. Collaboration is the kind of superpower of everything we do. And second one is carbon neutrality, sustainability. We must not forget that. When we get rid of Putin's and pandemic and so on, sustainability issues and global warming, they are still here. That is something that we have to do not only for better business, not only for our economy and our transport system, but for future generations. That is our main task, most important task in my mind. Next one is cybersecurity. It is connected to military mobility, dual use, those things that are nowadays present every day, at least when we are talking about money. All the investments in this field, I'm sorry that it's the fact, but all the investments in this field coming years will be somehow involved also with military mobility and dual use. It's shame, but that's the fact. Then there is congresses mentioned at least at the end. Was it South Korean Gangyang, something like that? Quite good, Marko, yes. And also Birmingham. We will be both in South Korea, we will be in Birmingham and UK. Actually, I have 6 C's. I thought I have 5. Then is cash, business. We must remember that all the new innovations in this field come from companies. And we have to motivate companies to create new, is it a charging system, is it mobility as a service, is it autonomous driving? Companies have to have access to market. We have to give motivation to companies. We have to be good buyers. They have to have pilots and testing and references in the domestic market for export. They have to make money. And 6th C is kind of maybe at least here in Finland the most important ones in this kind of events. It's cocktails. Now it's time for cocktails. When you have this cocktail in your hand, it's easier to collaborate, agree about the next congresses, talk about cash, not so much about cybersecurity, but of course also that. But at least collaboration. Thank you all. I want to thank you, our international guests. Every time I meet you, I get a feeling that when there has been discussion about ITS family, I really think that the way we are collaborating, it sometimes feel like family. And I have to say that it's very good feeling to have, to trust someone so well that it's even, now I'm going to cry. No, that is not the 7th C that cry. Okay, let's have fun, let's have cocktails and collaboration. Thank you all.